All right, guys, we have a lot to be discussing in regards to Bitcoin, as we do have the weekly closure coming in about 3 hours and 36 minutes. So we're going to be covering that. We're going to be talking about the USDT dominance with the Bitcoin price action. So shorter term time frames, what to actually expect. We're going to be covering in regards to Zen. What does this look like in terms of the bigger time frames? Are we more likely have set in that all-time low that we were looking for, and more likely continuation? So we'll talk about that. We're going to talk about BACS as well too. The recent developments that have been essentially happening, so you don't actually want to miss this information, guys. So let's go ahead and jump onto the video and not waste more time. So we do have the weekly candle closure coming in about 30 hours and 36 minutes for Bitcoin here, and we can see again it does look like more likely uncontested type of candle, where the bulls or the bears don't feel that again, agreeing on this type of price action around this area. Not really too bearish or too bullish in terms of this candle, but I would say as long as we can close above 37,141, I think that will be very good for Bitcoin overall, closing above the previous weekly candle. Now we do have something that is coming in that we've never actually seen before, which is the 255 EMA. So this white EMA, which is the 200, and the 55 green EMA. Now when we do have a convergence of the 55 moving above the 200 EMA, this is basically called the golden cross. Now we have never seen on the EMAs here on a weekly time frame where the convergence has actually happened. So if we go back historically and look at this, you can see the 200 EMA started actually developing right around 2015, and you can see that it at some points it did act as support right here. Around 2018 bear market acted as support through that bull bear cycle. We can see even during the cerveza sickness that actually acted as support. And then during that previous last bear market, we did actually trade below it. However, the bulls were able to maintain again price actions above the EMAs. Now as long as we continue to close above $28,000 to $29,000, I don't see why the convergence will actually occur. Now what this actually specifically means is that you're more likely putting an uptrend on the weekly time frame. Now that does not mean that Bitcoin won't come back, retest the $30,000 levels. It's very possible again to test it as support before continuing on. Usually price action likes to do that, usually come down to these areas of 30K before further upside movement on the upper time frames. Now keep in mind, guys, if we look on the stochastic here, we can see again it's looking to posture to the downside, more likely range a little bit downside before further continuation for further upside. We can see here the MACD, as long as you're above 32,604, you're going to continue to actually go up. On the 5-day, the 200 EMA is actually acting as support, so you were able to actually trade above that, which does give you a bit of a side of momentum for the bulls here around the $34,000 area, which is where it's sitting. We can see on the stochastic here, it is kind of pointing to the downside, posturing to the downside. If we look on the 3-day, the 3-day here, we can see that again downside, trading downside. The 2-day and the daily is where you're starting to see again the posturing. On the 2-day, looking for that posture to cross to the upside, maybe getting above $38,000. We can see on the daily here, which will confluence with the USDT dominance as well too. We'll talk about that as well. But for the time being, if we actually go on the 5-day real quick, guys, and just zoom out, we can see on the fib level, right, if we were to grab from the bull market right here to the bear market cycle, we can see that the main resistance comes in around the 38,700 area, which is around the golden pocket of the 618, which is a very important number on the fib, right, where you would find resistance, and more likely where the bears will come in, and more likely put some sort of shorts. Now again, shorts can be building around this area. Again, keep in mind it's a range area, not a specific price point that shorts will come in. So again, yeah, I mean, basing it off of this, I do see another upshot potential before maybe facing some, heavy resistance in terms of the macro scale. But again, if you are able to close above 37,000, 700 to 38,000, again, you're looking for that test above the 618. Whether or not we get it, again, that will depend on the bull scenario there. Looking on the shorter time frame, it does look like, again, that on the shorter time frame, on the 12 hourly with the Bitcoin USDT dominance, we can see the USDT dominance. Again, the stochastic is posturing to the downside, which does give potential for Bitcoin to move up again. Move the money moving away from USDT into Bitcoin. Hopefully this will give some, fuel to the fire for Bitcoin really to get above 38,000, as you can see right here, which I'll mark off again. So there's a chance for before the closure in the next week or so, more likely testing that. And then if where the rejection comes in, that the 618 is gonna be playing heavy resistance overall. Let's jump on to Zen real quick. We'll talk about what's been basically happening with Zen. So again, the potential for the notion that, again, there's going to be a trend change was coming in on the MACD on the daily, guys. So we can see here on the stochastic that you are putting in lower high. On the MACD, same thing as well too, lower high, confirming the cross as well too on the EMAs on the MACD. While on price action, you are putting in higher high, guys. So this basically indicates a regular bearish divergence. Okay, so meaning there's a trend change, which saw Zen essentially come down roughly about 39-40%. So that's a substantial amount of move if you did have mints coming out and you did not essentially sell. But with that being said, if we look on the daily time frame, again, you were basically putting in your higher low, roughly around the 594 area, the 600 price point, guys. You did trade below, you closed below that. However, that is going to be acting as your resistance on the shorter time frame. So if we go on the maybe the area hourly, you can see here that this will be resistance right here, guys. So getting above that will give us an opportunity to test the previous all-time lows again, which has been a key psychological level, maintaining Zen above these low prices. Again, as you can see, coming back from March of 2023. And even around the August as well too, testing it as support, wasn't able to bounce off of it. You start trading below the all-time lows, putting in new lows on the macro time frame. So again, if you can get above the 600 price point, looking a lot better on the shorter time frame. That way you're going to be looking for, again, a next higher low for further continuation to the upside. If you are able to get above the 665 area, you are starting an uptrend again with higher highs and higher lows from there. But if you look on the 2-day, guys, or the 2-day here, again, still looks good. It's still in favor of the bulls overall. Higher low, again, higher high. If Zen can maintain this area around the 500 price point, you're continuing on, right? Anything lower than this right here, you're gonna be putting a big macro downtrending move. 3-day still looking good. Higher low, looking for that next higher low on the 3-day. 5-day higher low, again, weekly. Not much to go off of. That will be your higher low right there. Again, the stochastic really around the 40 percentile. This is the number I'm looking at, guys. 40 percentile. If you get above the 50 percentile, you are in the bullish territory, meaning you're more likely looking for continuation for further upside movement, which is also good. 5-day, you're sitting around 62%. 3-day, again, more like a double top scenario here on the oscillator here, putting in more likely a higher high. Again, feeling that area. 2-day, again, that's where your divergence is coming in, the regular bear divergence. So that's basically what's happening with Zen. Again, whether or not you continue to basically mint at these areas for long term, again, long-term project, guys. So let's go ahead and look into BAX real quick, guys. Again, BAX had a substantial move to the downside, bringing you roughly around 57%, minus 57%. Now, one of the main reasons why, again, BAX has essentially shed off so much in terms of the percentage, and that is because of the regulated decentralized finance that is coming out in the next quarter of next year, guys. So more likely January, February, March, April, May, June, around there is when you can more likely expect an MVP type product for regulated decentralized finance. Now, what is this, guys? This is basically bringing on-chain money, bringing on-chain currency, right? So USD, GBP to the blockchain. And the cool thing about this is that this is suited for institutions and banks that essentially come and build on this platform. And the reason why they did not bring on-chain money on top of Ethereum, guys, is because, again, Ethereum has had scalability issues. More likely will cease to those problems will cease to exist more likely in a year or two. Again, with Ethereum, Vitalik coming out saying that, again, Ethereum will be a complete product, again, with what we've been seeing with layer 2s and things like that, and optimistic roll-ups and all that cool stuff. However, again, there is a big regulation hurdle that Ethereum has to go through, right? That these banks have to go through, and they've been basically building their own platforms, their own chains, right? So they don't want to be building on Ethereum because they feel that the regulation is not there. And again, the spot Ethereum ETF more likely won't be coming out until next year, which is good. It'll bring some sort of regulation for Ethereum. But what BAB and BAX are doing is they're specifically going after this market, guys. And the reason being is because we're seeing, again, Tether and a lot of these stable coins essentially are backed by nothing, out of thin air. And with that being said, we do see them coming out on their website saying that they're backed by some sort of assets, whether it's one-to-one or certain assets, liquid assets that they have in their reserves. We don't know for 100%. They say that they've been audited, but we don't know how authentic the audit actually is. With regulated decentralized finance, it's basically bringing in all the regulation, all the banks, all the institutions in a safe platforms to build DeFi products. Now, where you don't actually have these sort of rug pulls. Now, there will be more, again, information coming out. The white paper is actually available. You can actually go read it on redefi.world. But I think this is solving the solution of the stable coins, right? Bringing in on-chain money to the blockchain, building on their own platform where they can fully go after regulation and be compliant, right? And that's what you want to see, where you want to see a safe space where everybody can come in and build and does not have to worry about, being rug pulled. But on top of this, there is another aspect of it where more likely it will be connected to the BAB application, going through a KYC process. Now, I know what you're saying. Most people don't like that. But again, the BAB application is optional, right? It gives you access to GPP account. It gives you access to currency X. It gives you access to a lot of things. But again, the BAB is another product that is basically adding regulated DeFi. So where's the website here? I'll pull it up here so you guys can actually see it. So again, two projects are building on, again, the BAX token, which will be a layer 2 on the regulated decentralized finance, being the scalability to Redefi, where red coin will essentially come out that will be operating again as the standard for this platform. I'll leave you off with this. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Until next time, bros, as always, stay profitable.